Hey guys, what's up? Bergman Hobo here, and today is Black Friday. You know what that means. It's Men in Black Friday around here. Now for the last 2 years we looked at Men in Black's handheld offerings, with Men in Black 1 being really just not that good, and 2 being better but still having a lot of issues. In fact, it was better in some ways but worse in others. Today we're looking at the final handheld Men in Black game. Today we're looking at Men in Black the series on the Gameboy Advance. So this is it, the last roll of the dice. Will Men in Black knock it out of the park, or will they strike out? Let's find out. It's time to hobo up!
The story for Men in Black, the series GBA, is more episodic. There's no overarching story here, each level is its own story. I guess it's based on a TV series, they could get away with this. I myself don't mind it, but I understand if it would be an issue for you. Anyway, let's move on to the gameplay. Gameplay for Men in Black, the series GBA... Okay, we're just going to call this MIB GBA going forward. That cool with you? Anyway, MIB GBA is a side-scrolling shooter. You play as either Agent J or K, but rather than choosing which one like in MIB 2 on the Game Boy Color, you just alternate when you die. Odd choice, but alright. Now as before, each play is exactly the same. Each level has its own mission. For example, level 1's mission is to round up those little slug dudes. Oh, but you can't just grab them, you have to freeze them first, which means you need to find the freeze gun. These levels are often maze-like with multiple paths to take, some blocked off, and your job is to find your way through and do what Zed tells you to do. You find weapons laying around, and at least in this first level, weapons are just as much for utility as they are for combat. For example, in this first level, you find the noisy cricket. Just like in the cannon, it's a tiny gun that has some serious kickback, but it's more for knocking down walls than it is for killing enemies. Oh, and don't kill the slug guys, I found that out the hard way.
We can start this game all over again.
Yeah, so do what the man tells you, cool? Now, this and the Neuralizer are the only weapons like this. You only get them both once, at least that I saw, and as a fun little bonus, if you use the Neuralizer without the glasses, it's an instant kill. Hey, points to the devs for sticking to the MIB canon. So, what do the other buttons do, you may ask? Well, the L button switches your weapon. The A button is for running, jumping over small gaps, you do this while running, and climbing on bars or ropes above you, and for scaling ladders. Start obviously pauses, and I'm not sure if select does anything. Oh, sorry, got distracted. Each level has its own mission, like I said. For example, level 2's mission is to destroy the target at the end. Level 3's mission is to destroy all the targets and then get out within the time limit. There are only 6 levels, so the game could be beaten in one comfortable sitting. It was 2 for me, but I digress. Some enemy shots you can duck, others can hit you no matter what position you take. At least they learned from the last time where you were taking damage if one pixel of something damages you is touching you. Here, that doesn't happen. You know what they didn't learn from though? Fall damage. You still take fall damage, and some levels have a lot of verticality with no clear way to get down without taking damage. And the greater the fall, the greater the damage. Which brings me to how death works. If you die, you start back at the beginning, alternating to the next agent. Objectives you completed stay complete, and some enemies stay dead, others come back. Again, I'm not sure what determines which ones respawn and which ones don't. Any guns you gather stay with you, barring the glasses, with the ammo retained. So while it would have been nice to have checkpoints, the levels are short enough that it isn't that big of an issue. These levels are rather labyrinthian, like I said, so finding your way around can be confusing at first. Eventually you get a grasp on the level where you need to go. Health pickups are fairly common, so keep an eye out. Now as far as complaints, I think I shared most of them already. Just that there's still fall damage and there's not always an easy way to avoid it. At least the ending, while still a text ending, wasn't as much of a dull thud as it was in MIB 2. At least this one had multiple screens and was more of a definitive ending than just saying, good job. Presentation is about standard for an early GBA game. A lot of the same sound effects were used here that were in MIB 2, and a lot of the same music was as well. That's not to say new stuff wasn't added, such as J&K's death scream. You've also got the footsteps of our agents, and each alien has its own death animation and death cry, which is a nice touch. The music, as before, can best be described as Game Boy-rific. So if you grew up on the Game Boy like I did, you might enjoy the tunes. If not, they might annoy you. Sound effects are fine for what they are, but those backgrounds, man, they look really good. All areas look distinct, even if the background is just a solid gradient in some places. That's one area all these games did good at. The backgrounds all look good, some better than others, but they all look good. One odd thing I noticed was that in the 4th level, where the humans that need to be neuralized are, they change color depending on which agent you're playing as. It's a little odd, but nothing to form an angry mob over.
So, that's Men in Black GBA. How is it? Let's look at it and see. Has the gameplay? I mean, it's the best of 3 handheld games, but that's really not that high of a bar to set. You know, the gameplay is a bit slow, but it functions. You're not constantly taking damage. There's fall damage, which is still annoying, but it's still better than Men in Black 2. And the presentation, I mean, it's alright. A lot of the music was recycled as sound effects. There were some new ones in there, but they all serve their purpose just fine. The backgrounds are easily the best part of the presentation, but this game is better than Men in Black 2, but it's still not the greatest game ever. There are better run and guns on the GBA. Then again, there are also worse games. What I'm trying to say is this game is decent. Well, there we go. That's another episode on Bugs. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell to get notifications. Come back next month when we go green for Christmas once again. Until then, this is the Bargman Hobo saying be brave, dare to play. I'll see you next time. Hobo out!